What's up, guys? My name is Patrick Sauer. I am the executive director of a ministry called Streets 517 Ministries in Lansing, Michigan. A bit of my background would be that I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. I grew up in a two-parent home where Christ was the center, and I grew up in a household that was really, really big on service and taking care of and meeting the needs of other people. So a lot of the work that I do today and a lot of the work that I'm involved in today really started with having a mom and a dad who genuinely cared about people. I got started in my leadership role because I saw firsthand the impact that an adult can make in the life of a student. Despite growing up in a home with a really great mom and a really great dad and a healthy home, I still needed an extra adult. And what was planted in me of needing that, I then wanted to become that for more students. So that launched in me volunteering and then becoming full-time with an organization where I spent about 10 years. Problem is that it was an organization that really didn't have much of a vision for how to serve kids in the city. And for me, as I was spending time in a city high school, I was trying to figure out how to best meet those needs. So in 2016, there was a really hard decision where myself and a few others, we left to go start our own organization, which is now Streets 517 Ministries here in Lansing, Michigan. And really for us, it comes down to the fact that I wanted to be a part of real transformation in real communities and meeting real needs of people who live in these places. If there were to be a normal day, I would say that it typically starts with some sort of morning rhythm between me and God. Some time where I get to be in his presence, some time where, whether it's me bringing prayers or just simply just being, that's a big part of my morning. From there, and literally the moment that I leave my door and get into my car, it's on. And whether that might be hitting up one of the 3 high school campuses here in the city, whether it's spending time at our alternative school, investing in our leaders, going to games in the evenings, or last night we had a big Halloween party with students where we just got to have fun and be able to begin some of those new relationships with new students. So a normal day for me is getting around to a bunch of different college or high school campuses, spending some good time with our leaders and being able to make sure that we are really building great relationships with students. Yeah, UYWI has made a tremendous impact, not only in the organization of Streets 517, but also in me personally as a leader. One of the primary ways is this is a lonely world. And I think when you really look at other people who are doing ministry in a variety of contexts, it looks so different in our context than it would in others. So to be able to be around people who you don't have to understand all of the specific details of their city, but you know that if you live in these types of environments, there's just certain things that you understand. So to be able to go to conferences and to be in lectures and workshops and Zoom calls, to be able to go through coaching and certification, to see people who care enough about the work that we do, that they not only want to see the work grow, but also to see the leaders grow. That was something that I wanted to be a part of. And I wanted to be as connected to UYWI as I possibly could because they get it. I also believe, and this one might be one of my own personal thoughts, is that I think that the future of the church is going to be outside of the 4 walls of that church building. That means that we have to be willing to go to the places where hurting people are. If we no longer want to receive the people in our churches, which I know no one would actually want to say out loud, but we create systems that make it feel like that's the case. So that means that we have to be willing to go to where kids are. We're going to continue to choose UYWI almost in a simple way because they continue to choose us. And if you understand anything about the context in which a lot of us work and a lot of us live and a lot of us do work, you understand the idea that if you're rocking with us, then we're rocking with you. The other simple reality is that there's not enough options out there. There may not be many other options. The reality is that a lot of other curriculums, conferences, trainings, cohorts, certifications, they're good and they provide good source material, but they're not made with you and I in mind. They're not made with the kids that I know in mind. They're not thinking about Deontay. They're not thinking about Thomas. They're thinking about kids in other communities. So for us, UYWI is the premier source for anything and everything to do with urban youth ministry. There's a reality that exists for us here in Lansing that sometimes we don't always talk about, but it's true that the reality is that we would not be here today if it weren't for the investments made and the support given from our friends at UYWI. So I know that for me has made a huge impact. I would want, and I hope that as we continue to develop more leaders, that we can put them into UYWI certification, that we can continue to have them be involved in coaching. But I also hope that as we continue to grow and as we continue to progress, that UYWI is ready to meet the needs of us as a growing organization or a transitioning organization, that we need more and more people who would be willing to get on board for another 30 years, continue the impact, not just at UYWI, but all of the organizations that they support and walk with as well.